66 million years ago, the late Cretaceous period wasn't winding down. It was a biological peak. The continents were teeming with highly specialized, perfectly adapted dinosaurs operating at maximum diversity. Then, a piece of rock 10 to 15 kilometers wide slammed into the Yucatan Peninsula. The energy released eclipsed the detonation of several million nuclear weapons going off all at once. We can physically see the result in the geologic record. This dark clay line in the rock is the KPG boundary. It compresses 170 million years of evolutionary history into a single razor-thin layer of iridium-rich debris. When the dust finally settled, 75% of all species on Earth were gone. But this mass death wasn't entirely random. It acted as a highly specific, brutal grading curve for survival. The animals that failed that test were the giants. The non-avian dinosaurs, the flying pterosaurs, and the massive marine reptiles roaming the open ocean all went completely extinct. The ones that passed the test were incredibly unlikely. Small, early mammals, freshwater crocodilians, and aquatic turtles managed to endure the catastrophe. This raises an obvious question. Why did ocean-dwelling mosasaurs suffocate, while deep-sea sharks thrived? Why did a 7-ton T-Rex starve, while a crocodile lived? The answer comes down to ecosystem rules. A species can absolutely dominate its environment on a Tuesday, but if the underlying mechanics of that environment flip on Wednesday, that dominance means nothing. This animated cross-section of the Earth's atmosphere shows exactly how those rules flipped. The asteroid hit a region packed with sulfate-containing rock, vaporizing it instantly. Those sulfates filled the sky as aerosols, blocking incoming solar radiation and plunging the planet into a dark, freezing impact winter. Without sunlight, the planet's primary producers, terrestrial green plants and oceanic phytoplankton, could not photosynthesize. Their populations crashed almost immediately. That botanical collapse severed the anchor of the global food web. Giant herbivores ran out of plants to eat, which in turn starved the apex predators that relied on hunting them. If an animal's metabolism required a massive caloric intake from a living, sunlight-dependent food chain, it was condemned to starvation. While the photosynthetic engine of the planet ground to a halt, another source of energy persisted, the detritus food web. This ecosystem is sustained entirely by the consumption of dead, decaying organic matter. When the forests burned and died, all that organic ash and debris washed into freshwater streams and lakes. Instead of destroying those aquatic ecosystems, the catastrophe actively fed them. The survivors exploited this specific energy source. Crocodilians grow slowly and can scavenge for months without a fresh kill. Small mammals survived by eating insects, snails, and worms, creatures that were actively chewing through the rotting vegetation. Survival in this new world favored a radical shift in strategy. Move away from hunting the living, and subsist entirely on the abundance of the dead. This chart illustrates the severity of the aftermath, mapping a phenomenon known as the Lilliput effect. Before the impact, terrestrial animals grew to colossal sizes. Immediately after, you could not find a single surviving land animal that weighed more than 25 kilograms. With the giant predators and massive herbivores completely removed from the board, the Earth's ecological niches sat vacant. This triggered a process called adaptive radiation, where surviving species rapidly evolved to fill those empty roles. From a handful of small, burrowing mammals and ground-dwelling fowls, life explosively diversified. Those few survivors radiated outward, eventually morphing into all modern birds, whales, horses, and primates. The absolute destruction of the highly specialized dinosaurs cleared the ecological space required for the modern biological world to take root. The dinosaurs held a dynasty that lasted 170 million years, yet they were completely erased in a geological blink of an eye. Their sudden exit proves that immense size, raw strength, and global dominance are incredibly fragile traits when a sudden environmental shock hits the system. Evolutionary success is defined by a lineage's ability to navigate the total collapse of its environment, a filter that favored the small, the flexible, and the generalist.